Welcome back to another episode of the Dragon's Den podcast. On today's episode, myself and fellow cadre member Josh Bourque recap our experience going through One Bad Tour, Class 9. Right out of the gates, if you are listening to this in order to gain knowledge of the curriculum, then you are wasting your time. The how, why, when, where, what of the program are going to need to be experienced by you. What we will discuss is our preparation, nutrition, mindset throughout, and then what we thought of the value of the program. If it feels like we're being a little vague, it's very intentional. There are many impactful and important moments for both myself and Josh, but ultimately, we want everyone to go through it and experience it for yourselves. We both highly recommend the program and hope that you enjoy the conversation in spite of us being intentionally vague. Thanks for listening. Let's do it. All right, welcome to the next episode of the Dragon's Den podcast. Today, we have with us Josh Bourque and myself. One of the things that Corley says when he did his podcast, he said, I wanted to never make this podcast about me. And I'm going to let you know, we're throwing that out. This is the episode where we throw that out the water because we're going to be talking about the recap of me and you going to One Bad Tour, right? Right out the gates, we're going to say that if you are watching this podcast in order to get any kind of an insight into the curriculum of One Bad Tour, that this is not the podcast for you. If you want to know when things happen, why they happen, how they happen, then you're wasting your time automatically. You can turn it off because we're not giving it to you. However, what we are going to do is just talk about how we got to OBT, the experience of getting in, why we got in, kind of our mindset before, during, and then kind of after. What did the program mean to us? Would we recommend it? Would we suggest it? That kind of stuff. So It's just kind of to get our thoughts out there. It might not be a very long podcast because me and Josh spent about, I don't know, at least 16 hours talking about it on the way home, but more than that. So we've had this conversation back and forth, I want to say at least a dozen times. So we're going to miss stuff, I'm sure. But we just want to kind of get our thoughts documented and out there. If anybody wanted to see, like, hey, how would One Bad Tour go? Well, this is kind of the answer for us. So, Josh, man, welcome back.
Yeah, man, it's awesome to be here. You want to recognize the sponsor? Of course, we got to get that out of the way.
The sponsor of the show, naturally. So I didn't think this would happen, but I was like, hey, Little Debbie, if you want to sponsor the show, reach out. And they reached out and they said, we'd love, how many viewers do you have? And I was like, I have tens of viewers. Like sometimes it could be a couple dozen. They were like, wow, that's amazing. We're going to send you millions of dollars to sponsor this thing because we think you got a great thing going. So sponsored by Little Debbie's today, the greatest snack cake on earth. It's part of a nutritious balanced breakfast.
Yeah, it's on the triangle. It's on the food triangle.
It's definitely on the triangle.
I mean, that's what jolly old St. Nicholas eats on the reg.
And I mean, if you're not with Santa, who are you with, honestly? Yeah. So, yeah, you can eat as many as you want. You can't overdose on them. I know.
Because you did.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, that's the sponsorship of today's podcast. So,
yeah, man.
Now that we got the important stuff out of the way and we can collect our giant checks, let's get into it, man. So how did OBT hit the radar, and why did we decide to sign up?
Yeah, man. So I was looking into OBT after, and I've kind of touched on this with my own story with getting back into the job. Never hated the job, always loved this job, but getting back into it about 3 to 4 years ago when you showed me the Weekly Scrap podcast. And I specifically remember it was Basil Ibrahim's podcast that I listened to when he mentioned, smoke diver and things of that nature. And I was intrigued and I was like, what is that? And, did some research and found out that, man, this is something that's really hard. 1% of firefighters will even apply, and then even less will complete it. So it really intrigued me of, maybe going down that path. So I a lot of people know that journey of mine.
It's fine. You can restate it if they don't know it previously.
So made the decision to pursue a smoke diver program, pursue the Mississippi Smoke Diver program back in 2024, and I was successful. And then naturally, the next thing that I wanted to do was One Bad Tour. It was established in 2023. Not much was known about it at first, and then it kind of started gaining traction in 2024, more and more people started applying. It started to gain kind of a social media presence where it was gaining a lot of popularity. So it was something that I wanted to do, and it really it would have meant a lot to me to go and attend, Basil's course where he was that guy that directly impacted me getting back into the job, and realizing that there was so much more that the fire service had to offer that my department, within the walls of my department, that I wasn't achieving.
Yeah,
So
yeah, or didn't even know that it
correct.
existed.
Didn't know it
within there.
existed. So that's kind of the origin story of wanting to do it. So I'd had it on my radar to apply, and naturally I'd wanted, didn't want to go alone because I had done that route before. I had asked you to come to Mississippi Smoke Diver, and you graciously turned me down.
Yeah. So kind of holding on that same vein, I had thought about doing Georgia. I had thought about signing up in Georgia, and I want to say in March of 23. I just completed a marathon. I thought I was in decent shape, but I knew that I wasn't in smoke diver shape. But I was like, man, if I can reprogram my running fitness into the smoke diver level fitness, so it's going to be all the the gear work and all that kind of stuff, and start shifting it away from running, that I might have enough of a base to get it going. And I decided, man, I can't lock it in. I can't lock it in to get where I think I need to be. And so at the same time, you had asked me to go to Mississippi almost at the same time, like April, May of that same year.
Yeah.
And I had to turn you down. I was like, I just can't mentally lock into it. And you obviously you did as Stozel calls it, the solo mish.
Solo mish.
And you were successful there. And obviously I was very happy for you, but I felt bad. I felt bad that I turned you down to go. And then you come back and you said, hey man, what about OBT? Come with me to OBT. I had known about OBT also. I was eyeballing it as a possibility, because right out of the gates, like, look, we'll say this, if you're listening for the next couple of minutes, if you're already this far in, I'll give you the short version of this, which is me and Josh had very different experiences. We went through the same thing. We all did the same stuff, but like my experience was rougher than yours because of essentially it came down to physical fitness. But smoke diver courses are harder than OBT. That's not a big secret. You said it. You're like, Mississippi was harder than this, and we understand that to be the case. So for me personally, I knew OBT would be very difficult, which we'll get into, but I also knew that it might be more manageable than a 60-hour or a 40-hour course where you get beat up. I jokingly had said multiple times, I was like, look, I can probably cry for 24 hours. I don't think I can cry for 6 straight days. So I was like, I think OBT might be somewhat manageable. So it was on the radar as a possibility. And then when you came to me and you said, hey, why don't you come to OBT with me? I was like, crap, I've really said, mentally, I was like, man, I already told him no for Mississippi. I felt bad about it. I did want to do OBT. It was on the radar. And I was like, all right, let's start signing up. And for anybody that doesn't know, I've said this publicly a billion times already, but it was also important for me, similar to you, because when it came down to conferences, and back in 2022, when I went to CFT, there were so many great speakers, awesome individuals, but the one that really lit my brain on fire as like, holy cow, like an awakening, my brain exploded. The person I listened to was Baz. It was Baz doing his One Bad Day. It was a shorter version of his One Bad Day, like an hour 30, hour and 45 minutes. I've got pages and notes on that. He was a guy it really woke me up. And so I've said before that for me, this trip would have been like a pilgrimage to kind of go back to the guy that he developed this program, to the guy that really opened my eyes to what the fire service could be and what the fire service maybe should be, and kind of relit a passion that I know I had back when I had very first started, right? So I don't want to say it was a no-brainer, because it's difficult for me to sign up for things that I know are going to be very, very hard. But once you had said, hey, let's go sign up, it was like, okay, now we have to, right?
Yeah.
So we start the process. We sign up. It took us 3 attempts to get in. Just that's, flatly what it was. Yeah. So we sign up and we ended up landing on the third go.
Yep.
So I don't know if you want to pick it up.
Yeah, we got accepted into OBT class 9. And that was going to be in November of this year, 2025. And I was pumped. I didn't think that I would get in. I applied 2 times before, didn't get in, and partially because there's just so many people that sign up. They can only take. I think he caps it at about 40. So that's a lot of people signing up, and then a small pool of guys that he chooses.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
yeah.
let's give some context to those numbers. Like our class had like it was something around 440 that had signed up, maybe a little slightly less than that. But I want to say the class before that was maybe 2 classes before that was 700 that were signing up. So the wait list of people that are piling up are absolutely huge. So yes, it's hard to get in because once again, his wait list is probably gigantic. So we were very lucky and fortunate to get selected.
Yeah. So I when I got the email saying that I was one of the firefighters selected, it was a big honor, really, is what it was. And I felt a lot of gratitude to be able to be selected and to just know that I was going to be able to take part in that class to whatever degree I made it, how far I made it, I was going to be there. And if you're into this kind of stuff and you watch the videos and you see you see the guys getting after it in the videos, it's like, man, like that's going to be me soon. I'll be in that video, and it was really cool to have that realization that I was going to be there. So I was pumped, man. And what was really cool is I had never stopped training from Mississippi. So it was kind of like, I trained February of 24, go to Mississippi in November, and then I just never stopped training. So just foot was on the gas. Felt really good about where I was at physically and mentally. So getting selected, I was like, all right, we just keep on going, and I dialed it up a little bit, and that's kind of just how the person I am. But we can talk about that a little more, like how I train and then how you train.
Yeah, before we started rolling the camera, he was like, "What do you want to talk about?" So we kind of went over a couple things, and it was like, "Okay, well, this might be a very short podcast, but now that you're starting to talk, ooh, Lordy, you opened up some floodgates that I've completely forgot about." Yeah. Let's dig into that a little bit. So a couple of things that you said there that triggered some responses were gratitude. Like when you talked about gratitude, that was one of the things that we talked about going in. You're right. I was I felt so lucky, and I didn't want to waste the opportunity that I was given because so many other great guys, including your Mississippi buddies, helped me out.
Hilde and Trey.
And Trey, they had signed up and didn't get in. So I felt completely unworthy to be selected because I'm like, man, how many studs signed up that didn't get the shot that I got? And I was once again, going in with gratitude, and we'll touch a little bit on that later, but grateful for the opportunity, grateful for a body that moved, all that kind of stuff. And we'll get there. But when it came down to the training, I had been swapping over since about January. I'd been swapping over to more gear workouts, more body weight movements, starting to slack on the running, slow down on it. But once we got accepted, that's when it really shifted over. But the difference, I'm going to come back. I'm probably going to harp on this a couple of times. I'm going to tell you the difference in shape of me and Josh and my mentality for how different we were. They say comparison is a thief of joy. And you say all the time, Stolzel said it all the time, stop comparing yourself, stop comparing yourself. It's not possible. It wasn't possible for me because I had worked out with you so many times, doing the same movements, doing the same exercise, and you were just smoking me. And I was very concerned that I didn't have it in me because we're talking about bottle times of me and you doing the same workout. Bottle times, you're going 30, maybe 30 plus, and I'm hitting it like 22. I'm like, man, I don't think I have it, right? But one of the things for you was the volume of the amount of stuff that you were doing. So like, hey, if you want to be this, there's no secrets here. If you want to be really, really prepared for this program, just give Josh a call and he'll let you know what his workout regimen is. It was a little bit scary because it was showing up early in the morning, pre-shift, and not all the time, but just generically, like getting a pre-run in, getting a few 3, 4, 5 miles in, burning a bottle on shift, and then also doing some form of a HIIT workout. It was a 3 a day. Kind of a grind.
And sometimes more, honestly.
And sometimes more. Well, guess what it was for me? Not 3 a day. A lot of times it was 1 a day. Sometimes it was Maybe sometimes I really wouldn't do two separate workouts, but I would take two workouts and put them together in one big workout. So there were a couple of times you do two McGee's, or you do a ladder McGee, 10 to 50 and then 50 back down to 10, or something stupid. I do every once in a while, Blue Moon, a triple McGee, but I wasn't doing 3 McGee's a day. And my fitness, and I don't want to say age is a factor or anything like that, but like I didn't have in the tank what you had in the tank. And that was very, very concerning. I joked with you all the time about, hey, when we go there, I had zero doubts that when we went, zero doubts. I would have put my house on the fact that you were going to get out. For me, it was dicey, and I wanted to buy a foam finger at Walmart, like it says you're number one. And like, hey, when I get plucked off the field in the first 10 minutes, I'm just going to root from the sidelines, like, go Josh. Fortunately, that did not happen, but there was some real concerns about where our gear workout times were at. You had, generally speaking, you had a 30-minute full PPE McGee in you, and I had a 48-minute full McGee, and it was full PPE McGee. And I was like, there was a lot of doubt and uncertainty that went into the prep for me before going in. But we always said all the way down there, we're not quitting on each other, which we'll get into. We're not quitting. And just what Shetler and Spanka had said once when they had failed out of Oklahoma, they had a lot of apathy, is what Spanka talked about, had to get a mental reset, and they came back in with gratitude. And every time, we're going to talk about this too, Spanka said with his second attempt at Oklahoma, that every time an instructor or cadre member would ask him, hey, how you doing? He would say, grateful to be here. Or was it happy to be here?
Grateful to be here.
Yeah, grateful to be here. And it got so repetitive that he goes, a cadre member would say, hey, how you doing, Spade? He goes, let me guess. Grateful to be here. Just saying, he had a big old smile through his SCBA, like, grateful to be here, sir.
Yeah.
I love that mentality. I love that attitude. And that was the one that I drove down there with.
Yeah. That's
not the one that I had when I was down there. And I think it had a lot to do with my physical preparation versus your physical preparation.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my spill on the physical side. I'll kick it to you on your thoughts.
Yeah. And part of the reason why I train that way, obviously the main reason is, to be good at the job and to be, to have the work capacity to be an asset on the fire ground. I joke with people, I wear the big blue 3 on the front of my helmet so that people can know who I am and that they can rely on me. And it's halfway in jest, but halfway truthful, hopefully, that when you see me, you can rely on me, you're going to get a lot of work. But part of the reason why I train that way is because having gone through Mississippi and holding that standard and being able to achieve that class was a big honor. But then having gone, being accepted to OBT, people know that I'm a Mississippi smoke diver, just like if they know you're a Georgia or Indiana or Oklahoma smoke diver or Florida smoke diver, that comes with a lot of expectations. So I felt that expectation. I felt that pressure. Maybe it was self-imposed, but I didn't want to let people down. I didn't want to let the Mississippi Smoke Diver program down. I didn't want people to think like, oh, maybe it was just a fluke that he passed. I wanted people to know that, no, I'm here and I'm here for a reason, and that I'm going to give it 100% no matter what, and hold the standard. So that's why I trained the way I did. I wanted to do the best I could to guarantee that I was going to be in the best position to be successful. So that's why I trained the way I did. So
the mindset early, let's talk. I want to stay on that, man. This could be way longer than I originally thought. The mindset, there was so many, we had so many moments and conversations. I can tell you, I never told you this. I've never told anybody this, period. Even my wife, is that I had written in my head, I didn't write it out physically, but I'd written in my head a unsuccessful Facebook post. That's tough, right?
Yeah.
And I was I didn't even want to tell you that because I already knew what your response would be. I already knew what Molly's response would be. I was like, I'd already written I didn't make it post. I already had it. And I had it multiple times. I had rehearsed it. Like I had rehearsed a failure Facebook post. And once again, I was just embarrassed to even tell y'all that because once again, I knew your response. If you think you've already lost, then you've already lost.
Yeah.
And so, but you said expectations. like guys have expectations of me. When I was running all the time, calling me Goggins, and I'm like, I'm not Goggins, but like, you're working out all the time. People do it to you now,
Yeah.
where they don't want to work out with you because they're like, man, I can't hang with you. They
Yeah.
tell me that more so with you, but they tell me that, like, and I'm like, it's not, dude, I'm not as good as you. You're the monster of a worker outer that you have in your head built up of me is not me.
Mhm.
But that if that's the image, oh, this dude works out all the time. He's all about physical fitness, but then he fails.
Yeah.
I didn't have the expectation of Mississippi Smoke Diver, but I had already built a plan for failure in my head.
Yeah, I mean,
and you know what Spanka said? I had a long conversation with him about my doubts when it came to like us working out head to head. And he said, find a path for success in your head. He goes, you're building a plan. You already have like, you're only going to buy so many shirts because you're not going to need them to swap out because you don't think you're going to last long. Like, what's your success plan? But build that. Buy 16 shirts because you're going to be there that long. Like, you're buying one pack of Christmas tree cakes because you don't think you're going to be there that long.
buy the whole pallet, man.
Buy the whole pallet because you're going to be there because we got work to do, right? That was the mentality he was trying to get me into. And for whatever reason, man, I just had trouble getting my brain to that point. I had a lot of trouble getting it to that point. So that was tough, man. That was tough to say because it sucked. It sucked.
Yeah.
It sucked not having a plan for success mentally and being told that I needed to have that. And I just couldn't get my brain to that success. I knew I was going to go in and embrace as much suck as I possibly could and then just kind of cross my fingers and hope for the best.
Well, that's where the what you were feeling is exactly what I felt. You know, I didn't voice it, but what you're feeling is the fear of failure. And that's what keeps a lot of people from even attempting a program like this, keeps them from attempting a smoke diver, from attempting a marathon, is because what if I don't make it? That's what they're scared about. What if I don't make it? What if I fail? What are people going to say? What are people going to think of me? And that fear can be handicapping. And if you let it handicap you, then you're never going to do anything. So that's what you're feeling. It's not unique to you. It's very common, you know, with a program that has a high chance of washing out, you know, naturally there's going to be a fear of failure. But if there's 100% guarantee that you're going to pass, then it's not going to mean anything.
Spanka said that, right? He said, not Spanka, excuse me. Shetler had said, this has stuck with me for a while. When is the last time you signed up for something where you weren't sure of the outcome? And that's what it felt like for the marathons, because I wasn't sure of the outcome. That's what it felt like for OBT, and I'm sure that's what it felt like for Mississippi.
Yeah.
Find something to sign up where that you don't know if you're going to pass it or not. And I think that there's a lot of value in that. I can't say that I'm going to continue to go that route as I get older. I don't know at what point, you know, I get tired of doing these kind of abusive things. But me personally, I feel that there is value in signing up for something that may not go your way. Where you end up having to take a hit. So to speak.
And we'll talk about that more later with, you know, the value of programs like this. And we talked about it in the last podcast with Stolzel, Donald, and Ian. What is the value? And we'll get on that later. Yeah. But I think that covered pretty much how we prepped both of us differently.
Differently. We prepped very similarly in the workouts and the movements. You just did way more of it. We were doing the same movements, but your volume and intensity and speed was, man, I would do some lazy McGee's. I'm not going to drag this on, but I would just do some slow McGee's, just getting the movements, not really pushing. So, your intensity, your speed, and your volume were way above. If you want to be successful in this program, do not do what I did. Work out harder. If you think I work out hard, just call me. I'll let you know what I did. It's all on Garmin, by the way. You can all look this up. But do more than that. Do more than that, because we're going to get to why that became a problem once we get there. So
So
we head down.
We're en route.
Head down to Coral Springs. We had a lot of conversations about remaining in gratitude, not quitting. Not really a big story, but it was kind of cool that the Stone brothers, DJ Stone, let us stop over at his house.
Yeah, man.
And we got to conversate, and we had Shannon Stone, his brother, came by, and that was just a really cool experience. So I don't know if you're watching this, DJ or Shannon, but know that we love you both.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys letting us stay, and we appreciate the conversations, talking fireman stuff. And it was really an honor for me to be in that room with with those guys of such high caliber.
Yeah.
I really did appreciate that, and meeting them, and being able to stop and talk with Dennis Riley and his wife.
Chief Riley.
That was awesome. And then we got to go out for pizza.
Yeah.
Shout out NYPD. I should have got the Greek.
We should have got the Greek.
The
was
Greek
good.
looked good.
You warned us. You said the Greek is
I
good.
know.
I'm like,
The
I'm
meat-
gonna stick.
The meat lovers was delicious, but the
Yeah.
Greek looked pretty slamming.
You didn't even try it. I said,
know,
you know what?
I
I'm gonna give it.
should've.
I love Greek food.
I was being reserved. But,
So,
but no, seriously, man. Thank you guys for that, and the conversation was fantastic.
yeah. So, so we're heading down. We get all our stuff set up. We buy all of the food that we need. Let's talk about food real quick. Just a real quick cap. That
Yeah.
was when you talked about the amount of food. I had way more food than I needed. It wasn't even like I wasn't even in the ballpark of what was required. So I bought a whole bunch of crap that I didn't eat, and you didn't really need anything. You had brought up what you had eaten, but like
Yeah.
what did your diet look like?
Yeah, I can talk about that. I knew what I used for Mississippi Smoke Diver. I had it pretty much dialed in of the things that I like to eat. And that being in that realm of the Sufferfest. And what I did was I did fig bars. There's a fig bar brand that I enjoy from Costco. I did fig bars. I did some little packs of, it's called Date Fix. It's basically just pulverized date in a pouch that you can put in your pocket. And then I did beef jerky, and then obviously hydration. I mean,
Those are the three things you ate.
Yeah, South
Dates,
Florida,
figs, and beef jerky.
and then hydration.
And hydration. Hydration was really big, but go ahead.
That's how I fueled my body. I knew what worked, and I'd kind of done a trial run where I tested out the hydration and the fuel and see how my body would react. But that's what I used, and trying to keep the carbs high, trying to get some protein in me to where it had something in my stomach, and then obviously hydration. You're in South Florida, the humidity level's high, you're in your gear. You got to hydrate. If you don't hydrate, you're not going to make it. So that's kind of what I did, and it worked well for me. So
Yeah, hydration. Let's talk about that real quick. Obviously, you got to keep the gallon of water with you. You can put whatever you want in it. I'm so glad that you had. I was doing 1,000 milligram of salt scoop from. I mean, it doesn't matter what brand it was, but it was the Seabum brand.
yeah,
I was doing maybe 4 or 5 scoops per gallon, and I must have drank. I don't know about you. I got a ballpark it. It had to be 5 or 6 gallons. It had to be. I'm probably short on that.
yeah.
But you also brought cranberry juice.
Oh yeah,
And so we were cutting cranberry with a ton of salt, the electrolytes, and then we had pickle juice. So we were hitting pickle juice kind of to hopefully kind of keep the cramps off.
sure.
What I was eating was Little Debbie's. Once again, thank you for your multi-million-dollar sponsorship. I had a couple of Little Debbie's. I didn't really eat that many. It was supposed to be PB&Js. I bought 90, 100 of them. I had PB&Js coming out my ear, Uncrustables. I probably ate 4 or 5 of them throughout the whole time.
Yeah.
Knocked out a couple of pickles. Candy. I had candy in my pocket to try to get the quick carbs in. So it was like Nerds gummy clusters, but a couple slices of pizza. I thought that I was going to be, bananas. I ate 4 or 5 bananas. I ate quite a few of those.
Yeah.
And a little bit of frozen fruit that had kind of defrosted. I was popping that. My point is, man, I was way overshot on food. However, I will say that I almost never cramped. I caught a bicep cramp late, early morning during a push-up, and I had to kind of shake it out. But outside of that, I never had it. And I guess, assuming you had no problems with cramps
No,
either?
I remember, the legs were almost at that point of cramping, and I just kind of dialed up the hydration a little more. But no, really was good there. So that's kind of what we did as far as fuel and how we, bought our stuff. But, when we got there, and I want to talk about that, listening to Baz on these podcasts and seeing him on social media, and he just seems like such a larger than life individual, squared away, professional, jacked, and then you meet him in person and he's all of those things, he's he's
the exact same guy.
He's exactly the same guy, professional, squared away, jacked, and just holding the standard. And it was really such a pleasure just to meet him and see that, they say don't meet your heroes. No, like he was the man he portrays to be, and that was really cool. So being there, seeing him, seeing the cadre there, was just once again touching back into that gratitude. I'm like, man, I'm just happy to be here, and we're ready to give it a run. So
let's dive into the program a little bit without discussing curriculum.
Yeah.
So we started up, we get rolling, and it's no secret they can't abuse you for 24 hours straight at a very high intensity. The human body just won't hang on to it. Baz even says himself when he first developed the first iteration, they put a bunch of stuff on paper, and he said it on a podcast, and he told us that's way too hard. That with the first iteration was like, whoa, we had to dial it back. So, like I said, it's not a secret that it's going to kind of ebb and flow a little bit. So yes, there's a lot of PT. There are opportunities to learn. But when you talk about gratitude, right? When you talk about gratitude, that's one of the things that we tried to stay in the mindset of. We tried. You did a really good job of it, and I did not. During the course of the exercises, man, what you've said it. I've heard you say this before. Feeling big sad.
Big sad.
Man, I felt big sad about 6 or 7 hours in ballpark where, we had made it through the initial PT. It was hard, but then you're essentially staying in gear. You're in the air pack. You're essentially almost always in gear. And the body was draining. Like it was, I don't know if it was emotional. It was definitely physical also, but
Sure.
emotional. But like everything that they're doing during these teaching lessons, it's not like, hey, we're just going to teach you. And then like, hey, I hope that you got something from it. You're going to also do those things.
Yep.
So you're still forcing doors. You're still throwing ladders. It's still hard. And man, my heart rate was jacking up high on what was supposed to be kind of a not as intense portion. And I was starting to, the demons were starting to creep in. And it was, man, I don't know if this is for me. Like I'd force one door and it's like, whew, like the heart rate got jacked.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can hang here. I started to question whether I really belonged. And as the night progressed, it didn't really get too much better. And I had voiced my concerns a little bit to you. We actually didn't talk that much because we were either doing something really physical or learning or doing the learning that we were supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of time for conversation. And by the way, I guess we'll get to this at some point, but you're a class leader. So you're trying to make sure that everybody's bottles are filled, everybody's squared away, is their gear appropriate? You're checking in on everybody. Hey, where are you guys at? Does everybody have hydration? So it wasn't like me and you had a lot of time during these short breaks to be able to check in. But when you did, you were like, I was like, hey man, you checking on me? Hey, how you doing? Man, Josh, I'm not doing too well. And all you could give me in the time, because we didn't have a lot of time, was, hey man, you're still here. You're not out. So like, just hang in. We're here. Why would you leave? You're here.
Yeah.
I didn't find out till later, and I'm going to get down my apathy path here in a second. But like, I didn't find out till later that when they were checking on you, I don't know what your responses were, but you said grateful to be here. And I was like, I don't think I ever said grateful to be here. We had pre-planned for 15 hours to talk about remaining in gratitude. Yeah. And it was very difficult for me to remain in gratitude. I think personally, it was because my physical fitness was not to your level. I was hitting an ugly zone of uncertainty before you were hitting it. So you had the reserve, right? We talked about bandwidth. We talked about it at y'all talked about it at this table. Yeah. My bandwidth was running thin, where you still had some capability to be able to remain in gratitude. So anyway, I'll let you go off of that.
Yeah, it was difficult to kind of stay in touch with everybody because there's just a lot going on. But I do remember that encounter. I want to say it was late at night, and you were feeling big sad, as I say. No doubt. And I got really close to you, and I was like, hey man, like, you are still here. There's people that aren't here. There's people that didn't make it. You're still here, dude. Like, lock it in. Yeah. Like, you're good. Focus on the task at hand. If you focus on the task at hand and only that, then when you complete that task, you move on to the next one. And then that's how you be successful. And for me, I guess I have the ability to from the way I train, I have the ability to kind of turn into a robot when it comes to like things that are really, really hard. I kind of just turn into a robot. I don't really think about anything. I don't think about, and it's sad to say, but I don't really think about my family. I don't really think about my kids. I kind of turn into a robot and just focused. I am laser focused on the task at hand, and this is what I'm doing right now, and I'm locked in. And that's how I compartmentalize and deal with something that's high stress. And it has worked for me on 2 occasions, and that's just me. And like there's pictures I share where you can see like I'm there's like nobody home.
There's no, oh yeah,
Like,
your Mississippi smoke diver picture.
I'm just locked in.
I want to echo that real quick to say, when you said like I don't even think about my family, it sounds bad sitting here in this podcast. It sounds bad, but that is the reality. When I know that I had hit that point multiple times where it's like I wasn't thinking about doing it for my kids, or like what are the people going to think if I quit?
Yeah.
I didn't care about what anybody thought at that point because I really just didn't want to do the thing anymore.
Yeah,
I was at a point where, I wasn't out. We were on a break, and I was thinking like, I don't know what's coming. I know it's going to be bad because that's just what this program is. And I don't want to keep doing this. I'm not him. As a self-doubt. You don't belong here. Like that, those kind of negative thoughts were starting to creep in. Mm-hmm. The cadre would check in often. And we don't have to go a bunch into the cadre, but I'll very quickly say I had 0 bad interactions with anybody in that cadre. They were all great. All of them across the board.
Absolutely.
But all of these guys are checking in. Didn't know almost any of them, but they're saying, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like, "Hey, I'm not doing good, too good." Like I was honest with them. I couldn't fake gratitude.
Yeah.
And they would all say essentially to some version of, "You're in your own head. Yeah. You're in your own head. Get out of it.
Yeah.
Get out of it. Just do the next task.
Yeah.
Just do the next thing." And that's what kept me going, was really just do the next thing, and thinking like, if I am not him, if I am truly not him, then I'm going to fail at some point. Like there's going to be the body will fail, and then they'll drag me off the field, and then we'll be like, "Hey, you know what? I really wasn't him. I was right. I wasn't him." But them just saying, "You're in your own head, get out of it, continue to move forward." And that's what we did. Yeah. 1 rep, 1 set, 1 whatever, and just see where the body shuts down. And thankfully, it didn't shut down, and we were able to kind of creep along in the process. But
you mentioned the cadre, and I kind of want to go into that a little bit.
Go for it.
I'll make 13 years of service in January of 26, and I learned things at this class that I have never seen before. I learned things and tricks, tips, skill sets that I have never even seen before, and it blew my mind. And the level of professionalism and passion and just the skill set of the cadre was top tier. Like they showed us things that I'm like, wow, dude, man, these guys are good. and it was so incredible. It's like I felt cheated. I felt cheated for almost 13 years that like I didn't have the opportunity to learn these things. And now having learned them in this environment, this high stress environment, I'm like, this is really cool. So they shout out to all of Baz's cadre, the proactive rescue operations cadre. They knocked it out of the park. So much skill and professionalism that it really made an impact on me. So.
Yeah. Once again, we're not going to give away the curriculum, but I agree with you. And I did a podcast recently where I did a mashup of 13 or 14 different cuts of 20 firemen talking about getting outside of the bubble, right?
Yes.
So this is part OBT. We talk about conferences, and conferences are great, but OBT is part of getting outside the bubble.
Absolutely.
There was plenty of learning and doing to be done at OBT, and I echo that. And there were some things like, as a conference goer, as a guy that bebops around and listening to podcasts and stuff, there were several things that I saw that I had never seen before. There were some very simple tips and tricks, and I'll go into just one of them real quick, like burying the adze into a door for forcible entry. Instead of holding it with your hand, spinning around and using your body to pin it, instead of swinging forward, swinging back. It was Hernandez that had showed me that, and I was like, that's so simple. Well, I've never even seen that, but it makes a lot. That's how I'm going to do it from now on, because the body mechanics made total sense. There was a bunch of little things in there that you go, oh, like light bulb moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff across the
Yeah,
board.
and that's it. It echoes to like, what kind of class is this for? Is this for a new firefighter? Is this for an experienced firefighter? Yes, it's for both.
Yeah. Oh,
Like, it doesn't matter if you're a new guy, go. If you're an experienced guy, go. You're gonna learn something.
yeah, you're gonna learn something. Be in good physical shape,
Yes, but
because if you don't, you're not gonna learn anything. Well, you're gonna learn stuff about yourself,
Sure.
but like, you have to survive is
Yeah.
essentially it.
But like, for a guy that's new, that has, not much time on the job, and he feels like, man, I don't really, I don't know if I can go there. No, man, go and learn. Like, they will teach you so much.
Yeah.
And if you're an experienced guy and you think you know it all, go and they'll teach you something.
I guarantee it. They will teach you something, no doubt. I remember, and once again, not to give away curriculum, but that, no shocker that you're going to throw like there's going to be a ladder section somewhere, right? And he had talked about while doing the education section, he's talking about, here's how to throw the 35 and the 24, and then you got your taller roof ladders, the 18, and he's like, man, if the guys don't know how to throw it, he goes, you ever seen a guy wear a ladder wear a ladder as a hat? And he's like, yeah, not very fun, huh? And I was thinking in my head, like, yeah, that seems pretty embarrassing. Like, I don't want to be that guy. And then lo and behold, 20 minutes later, I'd never thrown an 18 in my life. We don't have those on the engines, right? Sure enough, throw the 18. It's too tall. Bonk, right on the helmet. I was like, wow, we're wearing this ladder as a hat. What an idiot. What an idiot. So, yeah, you're going to learn and experience and do things that maybe you've never even had the opportunity to do. Not to deep dive too far into it, but you will do things you've never seen that are going to trigger some responses of, oh, I had no response for this. I had no answer for this problem that they're putting us in. And now they've given us a couple of answers, a couple of quick, reasonably simple answers on how to solve some problems. And that was also very cool.
Yeah. No, if you want to keep on the vein of funny stories, there was an evolution where I will not say what the evolution was, but I bit the dust to put it quite frankly. And one of the cadre, who's also a Mississippi smoke diver, Ian Lopez, he's like, damn it, Bourque, class leader, making a fool out of himself. Yeah. And then he proceeds to tell me that Jacob Stolzel, whenever he went through the class, messed up the same evolution. So I didn't feel as bad.
Yeah.
So, but
damn it,
class leader makes mistakes too. So.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a good time. So, yeah, so one of the things that I forgot about previously that I wanted to touch on when we talked about the physical preparedness is at a certain time right before we went to OBT, I was feeling kind of, once again, big sad. I had some mental blocks because I remember trying to do a full gear McGee and tapping out on a full gear McGee because I just didn't want to do it anymore. I'm like, this is too hard. And I felt bad. I couldn't do a full Sally. I could get close to a full Sally the push-up challenge, but I couldn't quite get there. My McGee times my slick McGee times weren't where I want them to be. I think I was hitting in like the mid 19s, 1930, 1940. I was like, man, I want to go faster than that. Or maybe it could have been plus 20.
I think
it was, it's like, it might've been like 2030 or something, but regardless, I was hitting some really rough spots. I remember working with you and you said, hey, we're fixing to go. We had like 2 weeks out or maybe a week out. You said,
it was close.
It was very close. And you said, we got a big day planned. So I was like, oh Lordy. And you didn't tell me what the day entailed, but during that day, I think it's important, and maybe important to say have a workout partner or accountability partner, because had I solo missed this, it could have been a problem. But we did it. We started with a slick McGee, and you pushed the pace, and I was trying to hang on the best I could. You pulled an 18-minute, and I kept everything unbroken, absolutely suffering through everything, and it was like 18:44. Your up downs are too fast. I can't keep up with them, but I tried to hang on the best I could, 18:44. Well, that smoked my original, 20 plus time. And I was like, that felt good. Immediately, first workout of the day, it felt good. I was like, okay. We took a break. We did some stuff on search, and then we went to Cole had jumped in, and we did a Sally, right? We're going to do a Sally into a full gear McGee. We start out the Sally. We all did the full Sally, which I'd never done. And I felt like I had a little more. Like I had the song going on. I could have squeezed out more time. Another win. second win of the day. Check. Like, I'm not okay. I know I'm not Josh, but I'm feeling better about myself.
Yeah.
Then we immediately did some gear donning time. All of our times throughout the day, because we had done multiple, we're easily sub the time that we need to be for OBT. Once again, felt good. We get into the McGee, the full gear McGee, and you and Cole are demolishing it, and I'm struggling. We started essentially the same time. Actually, I think I started a little bit earlier, and y'all finished way ahead of me. Everybody was embracing some suck. And I remember when I got down into the 30s, I was pushing into the 30s, 50, 40, 30. When I pushed into the 30s, you guys were about finishing up. And I was not wanting to continue. I was like, I am struggling to do 2 or 3 up downs before I've got to grab a breath. You geared down, you came, stood right next to me, and you basically coached me through the rest of it. You're like, hey, nope, keep going. Grab 2 breaths, 3 breaths, back to the push-up position. Give me 10 push-ups. Bang out the 10. Hey, you got 3 more breaths, back into the push-up position. That push and motivation had gotten me to a point and gotten me through a sticking point that I would have previously said, like, man, I can't, right? I can't do this. I am not physically able to, I don't want to endure this kind of suck. And you were like, nope, you're not quitting. So once again, 5 breaths and I need 10 up downs. Yeah. Get up. On the 9th breath, you said on 9th breath, start standing up. Like, because I'm not even giving you an 11th breath. You need to take the 10th one at the top and then straight back down. Completed it. It took me a while. It took me forever, but we got through a third mental block that it wasn't that I didn't have the ability the week before to do it. It's just that my brain was shutting me down, saying, don't do that.
Yeah. So the reason why I did that, and the reason why I'd planned the training day to go that way, is because I knew that the full gear McGee was something that was giving you trouble mentally and physically, that you were hitting your perceived limit. Goggins talks about it. When you think you're done, you really have only gone 40% of the way. You still got 60 to give. So I knew you were hitting your perceived limit, that you weren't hitting your actual limit. And what I wanted you to do was I wanted you to push past that perceived limit and get a win and realize that you could do it, that it's possible. Like it's not impossible. You can do it. And I finished mine, Cole finished his, and I did gear down. And not only did I coach you through it, I did it with you, because
that's true.
Because that in my mind, that's what leadership is I'm not going to ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. So I wanted to lead from the front and do it with you. So yeah, it was more so just showing you that you had it within yourself the whole time, that you could get it done, and that I knew that pushing past that perceived limit would translate directly at OBT at some point, when you were going to be facing your perceived limit there, and you're gonna be like, I can't go anymore, when really you can. And you have to make that decision to, man, if I'm not dead, if I'm not passed out, like, I still have more to give. So that's really why we did it that way. And I know that's why you brought that story up to translate into your experience at One Bad Tour, where
but we're not done though.
You hit, yeah. So yeah, go ahead. We weren't done.
After that, he then we geared down, right? And then you stuck us in gear, and we did it. We burned a bottle after that.
Yeah.
So it was not that, once again, this wasn't like, oh God, Chris is this physical specimen. You were just proving the point of, when you think you're tired, and when you think like, okay, the body cannot move anymore, because now you did all these big things before. Like, no, we can still put on the gear, and we can still go do axe chops and push-up holds and over the plate carries and farmer carries and all of those push-ups and all those different things.
Yeah. Really, I was proving it to yourself. I was showing you that you could prove it to yourself that you had it within you the whole time.
So if you you're a physical specimen and you're going to be A-okay at OBT as far as like getting through some of these things, but if you're not, I think it would be important to grab an accountability partner and do some check-ins and do some gear workouts together and get each other to kind of push, not each other, because I wasn't going to help Josh get through his gear workout because I was too busy suffering, but have somebody that's better than you drag you up. Yeah. Pick you up and say, hey, this is where this is where you could be. This is where you are. You just don't know it. Yeah. So I think that's very important, because yes, translating through to OBT, there were many times, I would say many times. There were 2 times very specifically that, yes, I told you when we were on downtime, when we were grabbing water and refilling that, and we were taking those rest periods, that I was like, hey, I'm going to call Molly and just tell her this ain't for me. Go walk over to the cadre and say, hey guys, I'm checking out, because I'm not him, right? But also there were times in PT, like during the active PT, where I am grinding through the best reps that I can possibly manage, where I had the same thoughts.
Yeah.
I didn't ever say I quit or I'm done, but mentally it was starting to creep in where I was saying to myself, like, I can't hold the standard. I'm not where I need to be. So, but we didn't say I quit.
Yeah.
We were just grinding. And I do think that breaking through those mental barriers was important and impactful.
Yeah,
for that. So,
I think it definitely helped you to be successful. And shared suffering obviously is fantastic way to build character and discipline. You put your gear on. Eric Vidal says it all the time. Put on your gear and let me know how you feel. It's tough. It's not easy. So, but when you share that suffering with a brother, sister firefighter, and you're building resilience, you're building mental fortitude, it's going to make you better. And it is easier to work out with a partner. It just is, because you can motivate each other. When one's feeling down, hey man, pick it up. Let's go.
Speaking of, this is not OBT related, but with Cole on that particular workout, he was feeling some kind of way after coming back from that call, and they were like, man, he doesn't want to come work out with us. He doesn't want to do the gear workout. And I went into the kitchen. I'm like, oh no. I barely work with y'all. I went and he was cleaning up the kitchen or something, and I bear hugged him and I picked him up, and I was walking out of the key. He's like, bro, what you doing? I was like, you come and work out with us. Like, get out of your feelings and come. He's like, man, I got to clean. I was like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're going to work out. And sure enough, he put on his gear and he knocked out a 32-minute like full gear McGee, just stud. Like, yeah. Cole needs to sign up. If you're listening, I don't know that you will, but yeah, sign up, nerd. So anyway, that's that. The shared suffering of, hey, we're participating in it. You should also participate in it. In the end, it's gonna make you better.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
All right, fast forward. Fast forward. Graduation. We make it out. We start 38. We graduate 21.
Yes, sir.
Class leader, feeling good, right? Everybody's lined up. I don't know where you want to go with that before we kind of tie it up. Like,
yeah, man, it was a very impactful moment for me. And there's many impactful moments throughout that course. And, once again, not going to tell you anything about it. Sign up for yourself and experience it for yourself. But it was very impactful for me to make it to the end of that class and to shake the hand of Baz, the guy that he changed my career, the trajectory of my career, by just listening to his words on a podcast. And so having that moment of graduating his class and graduating it as class leader, which was an incredible honor for me. It really was. It was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to step into that role, not because I wanted the title or anything like that, but I know that it was good for me. I know that it was good for me to step out of my comfort zone and be a leader, because my natural tendency would be to somebody else would do that. Like somebody else would do it better than me.
I do want to tell a story real quick right there with the class leader. We had lost our class leader reasonably early, and Bass said, "Hey, we need a class. Your class leader is gone. We need a new class leader." And you were all the way up at the front. They had shifted everybody to the front, and your hand immediately went up. And I looked around, and I don't know if I looked around, but peripheral vision told me that nobody else's hand went. Maybe they had some behind me go up, but yours went up immediately. And then Bass fussed at us. He's like, every hand should have went up. This is the kind of guy that we need. So he praised you and then kind of beat all of us up. And I was kind of like, yeah, we probably should have raised our hand. But anyway, he took over. I thought it was a funny story.
It was funny.
Yeah, we got beat
I didn't mean for everybody to get yelled at.
Sorry.
But no, it was very impactful for me to be class leader, to make it through that program, to experience all of the emotions, high and low, and then at the end, to be able to ring the class bell. That's the class leader's responsibility. If you've seen the videos and the pictures, it's the class leader that gets to ring the bell, and it's an incredible honor because, the motto that Baz and the cadre is hold the standard. And I was able to vouch for class 9, for all of class 9, that we held the standard, and I was able to ring the class bell with pride and honor. And it was an incredible moment, man. It really meant a lot to me. Kind of like that full circle of not knowing who Baz was, not knowing what smoke diver was, and all of these things, just being in my little silo of my fire department to, the person I am now and the journey that I'm on, to then experience that was really cool. Like, words really can't describe it. So that was my perspective of that moment, and it was pretty cool. If you've seen the pictures, there's a lot of emotion and passion, and I rang the bell so hard I broke it. Sorry, Bass.
Yeah. He said apparently guys were breaking it nonstop. Like the last 4 guys that broke that bell. Baz, get a better wire to hook to that little bell if you're watching this.
Or maybe the class leaders are just really strong.
Maybe they're I didn't think about that.
No, just kidding.
They don't make a piece of metal that can hold you back.
Just
Josh.
kidding.
Yeah, similar thoughts. Similar thoughts. Once again, I had no doubt that you were going to make it. Literally 0 doubt. But for me, it felt good as making all the excuses in the world as the old guy, as the guy that did not take care of his fitness from an early age. I had a lot of time off where I just didn't do anything physically.
Yeah.
And being able to, like you said, you see online where you see the guys behind OBT 3, OBT 4, and they're behind the plywood, and you're sizing guys up. You're like, are my arms as big as that guy? Like, I wonder if, man, now that guy's got a little extra weight on him. Like, I could probably, am I big enough? Am I too skinny? I might be better. You just do that constant size up, and then it became a reality of, now our names are on the squad list, and now boom, we're around the bell ringing, we're behind the plywood. It's
very surreal.
Very surreal, especially that me and you have a similarly shared experience of Baz being the guy that either reinvigorated or opened our mind to other things within the fire service. Once again, for me, it was kind of a pilgrimage to be able to experience that. So to kind of, I don't want to say put a cap on it, we go back, we sleep the night, and then we start to head back, and I don't know, man, it just felt good. I remember when we were going down, I was thinking in my head, man, if I'm unsuccessful, it's going to suck, because I knew you were going to be successful. And that's going to be a quiet ride back where I tapped and you didn't. But man, I'm going to be honest. It was a very comfortable 16 plus hours in the car back. We did end up stopping at DJ's again. Once again,
Yeah.
Thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Stone.
The oatmeal cookies were delicious.
Man, her cooking, her baking abilities are on point.
Yeah.
But they were very gracious hosts again to kind of help us stop over. We did stop and talk to Leo Ramirez.
Yeah, man, that was a pleasure to meet him.
Yeah, what a dude, huh?
Really
dude.
cool.
I don't want to go off on a tangent, but what a great dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, on the way back, it felt comforting. I just felt like there's so much tension for me going in because I'd already pre-planned my I'm not going to succeed speech.
Yeah.
And the relief of, oh my God, I'm so thankful that I got through that thing.
Yeah, man.
I don't have to write that. I can write an entirely different speech that I had no intentions of writing. Like, I hadn't written that speech yet.
Yeah.
I had the sorry I failed speech. But yeah, very much a relief to be successful on that end.
Yeah, man, God is good.
All the time.
Absolutely.
All the time. Man, we could tell so many stories about guys that were in. You say God is good, and I remember Armstrong, Josh Armstrong, just what a stud. We could tell stories about guys in. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but there were so many good classmates.
Yeah, the classmates were awesome, man. Met some great people.
Oh, absolute just grinders. Just get, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to go any, some of these guys, I thought I had it rough. Some of these individuals were having it rougher experiences and more adverse conditions. I'll say that. They still made it through.
Yeah,
and
man.
they were just rock stars. But anyway,
I think this is a great time to talk about the value. What is the value? What is the value of programs like this?
Pretty simple. For me, I say pretty simple. I'll try to keep it tight. For me, it was knowing that there's more in the tank. It's literally as simple as that. Where it gets said all the time, right? Your perceived limits and the David Goggins and all that stuff. To know that you can manage 24 hours where a lot of those hours are in gear, a whole lot of them, or if they're not in gear, it's PT and you're getting beat up really hard, sometimes in or out of gear, high demands, high stress, a lot of unknowns. There were several things that I had done in zero viz or not even in zero viz that I'd never done before in gear. To do that consistently with short breaks was, I would have thought previously, like, man, I just don't have that in the tank. And to go through it, you go, okay, I actually did have that in the tank. So you can translate that over to the fire ground where there's more there. Donald Smith had talked about it when he talked about how hot the fires were.
Oh yeah,
when
bandwidth.
Yeah, bandwidth, and also having a temperature gauge, not only physical but mental. Of he had gone into this fire. He had already gone to Mississippi. He had already gone in the really hot evolution, and then he goes into an actual fire, and he was like, "Wait, the other way around. Mississippi was way up here," and then he was able to quickly reference his other experience and go, "Oh, I'm good." He literally said, "Oh, I'm good. We're not even close to where my physical stopping point is." That's kind of what this could be for me, in the sense of, man, am I tired? Do I just need a couple of seconds to either rehydrate or get myself back together, or can I just keep working? And I'm being, I don't want to say be lazy, but mentally putting a block on myself that didn't exist before.
Sure.
The ability to go limited sleep, high workload, high stress, trying to problem solve. I know now that I'm capable of more. Am I a great fireman? No. But I know now that I'm more capable than what I was capable of before. That's what it was for me.
Yeah, for me, I mean, very similar experience. It's being put into situations that are very hard. There's a reasonable high chance of failing. And I think a lot of character comes from that, is putting yourself in a situation like that where you're not sure the outcome, but you're willing to do it anyways and see what happens. And being willing to test yourself and test your abilities, physical, mental, your skill set, and see where you end up. And I think the value is it's really unmatched. There's really, you can't put a price to the value of a program like that, because it teaches you not even so much skill set, but it teaches you about yourself. I put up a post where Captain Brad Geary, Naval Special Warfare, where he says the most uncomfortable thing that we show candidates at BUD/S is a mirror. And basically what he's trying to say is that when we strip everything away and we push you to your limits, we show you a mirror of who you are. And when things get tough, are you the kind of person that quits and folds? Or are you the kind of person that smiles and keeps pushing? And that's what I think programs like that do, is they strip everything away. You know, everyone's perception of you, your perception of yourself, and what's left remaining. And I think that's a big value. And you learn so much about yourself and what you have, and your heart, your character, your ability. Because I think that's what makes a good firefighter, is not just your skill set, but your character and your heart, what you're willing to do when things get tough. Because you're going to be put into a lot of situations like that in the real world, where, you know, you go into a building you've never seen before. You're responding to a very high stress environment, and your job is to manage that scene and make decisions and get the job done. So I think that's where these programs really shine, is they help prepare you for those situations in the real world. So hopefully that makes sense.
It's hard without going to any curriculum detail.
Yeah.
That once again, we can only say that you got to sign up to experience this thing for yourself. I don't regret it for a single second, because there was a decent price tag on it. You know, that there's a monetary price tag to traveling down there. The class costs money, gas costs money, food costs money, hotels cost money.
Yeah. So you're invested.
And that's what he calls it. He doesn't call it the cost of the class. He calls it the investment. And that is absolutely true.
Yeah. But his point is that you're investing in yourself. You're investing in your skill set and your abilities, which is a great thing. You need to invest in yourself, because to me, you would want your skill set and your abilities to be high.
Correct.
I want mine to be high.
Yeah.
So.
These programs, once again, I've only been through this one, so it's not like I can speak for all of these programs. But it's they push you to a spot that you will probably not push yourself to. Very few humans are going to push themselves to that level of discomfort voluntarily. There's going to be some out there. Goggins is obviously one of them. But for the regular, average, everyday folk like you and me, it's going to push you to those discomfort levels where you really just don't want to be there. And now you got to figure out what's going on. Like you said, you put up the mirror. Your mirror was a prettier picture on the other side. Mine got a little bit ugly. I didn't really like who I saw, but thankfully we didn't hit the this isn't for me anymore button, and we were able to kind of push through.
And what's cool, and don't want to cut you off, but what's cool about the mirror is, even though you like, I like what I see in the mirror, I still see my flaws. I still see areas where I need to improve and where I can, be a better firefighter. And that's what's good about something like this, is it exposes the areas where you're weak, and it also exposes the areas where you're strong. So we reinforce the areas where we're strong, and we bolster up the areas that are weak, and then you become a out of the park firefighter. So that's where I think that mirror is cool, because it shows you both. It shows you your strengths and your weaknesses. So you shore up the strengths, and you work to improve the weaknesses, and then that's a recipe for success.
Yeah. And in the end, like he says, and like we always know, similar to Mississippi, right? This is not the end.
No,
this is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
It's not we haven't hit any type of like elite firefighter knowledge or skill set.
You're never done.
We're just going to have to continue to hold it.
Yeah, you're always on that pursuit of being an excellent firefighter. And you should be on that pursuit until you retire. That's the goal, is you trying to be the best that you can be until the day you hang it up. So.
That's the hope. That's the hope. Final thoughts?
I think it was good, man. Hold the standard.
Hold the standard. We're gonna attempt to do so. The body's just coming back. The scab on the knee is finally starting to heal. How many days are we past?
Oh, it's been a couple weeks at least.
It's just starting to get to where I can no longer peel it off. But anyway, yeah, that's about the recap. Obviously, if you want to talk to us about it without revealing secrets, if you're interested in it that doesn't talk about, I say the secrets. There's no secrets, just fireman stuff.
Yeah, it's fireman stuff.
But without revealing the curriculum, Josh or I would be more than happy to talk to you to try to help you prepare, because we had guys that helped us prepare. We had guys that they didn't tell us nothing other than here's what we did to be successful. And so if you want to reach out to us, once again, just find us on socials, and we'll help you out, because how many guys we got going probably to sign up? At least 6 or 7.
Yeah. And really that's the point of doing something like this, is to inspire others and to show others what's possible. We're just two guys from a Louisiana department, and being successful shows other guys from around this area that, hey, maybe I can do it. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing to show people what's possible, and that, they may have not wanted to do it before. Now they're thinking about it. That's a good thing.
Yeah. And just me and you are both excited to potentially go back. We're going to go back at some point. I don't know when or how, but we're going to go back at some point. But we're hoping to be able to get guys, once the guys in our orbit start to get accepted, to try to clear the schedule and get over there, because I'm just like Stozel and Lopez went out there to kind of help and support us. It was more you. They say it's both of us, but it was more you. I'm gonna hold to that story. It was us. They really wanted to see us successful, and they were there to support us. So I would love to go back with guys that are once again in our orbit, to go back and be on the same exact side, the pride and the excitement that I'm going to feel to see those guys go through it and succeed is it's very exciting for me for the future.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and just a quick word on that is the culture there, the culture that Baz has created with those guys is incredible. The culture of high achievers, guys that are trying to be excellent in the craft. You can see it, man. You can see it, you can taste it, you can feel it. It's there. And what an environment to be in. It's incredible. Yeah. So, you got to sign up, and you got to attend it to to see what we're talking about. But
Yeah.
it's really a cool environment, man.
Yeah, there's probably about what 50 of those guys to
Oh,
40 of
yeah.
us, and I'd want all 50 of them on my truck.
Absolutely,
All
man.
50.
Those guys are top tier.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
So yeah, really just a great experience. Sign up, go, experience it for yourself, man.
yeah, I never heard anybody say anything bad about it, which is that'll tell you what it needs
That'll
to
tell you a lot.
So
Yep.
all right, that's gonna be a decent little hour right there. Thank you all for watching. Once again, if you got any questions, please reach out to us, and we hope you found some value in anything that we said today. So
Yeah, man.
Josh, appreciate you dragging me along for the
Yeah,
process.
absolutely.
And thanks for joining me this morning to kind of talk about it, man.
Absolutely, guys. Stay training and keep getting after it.
Yeah. All right. See y'all later.